The NFL draft is officially over, and there was one storyline that literally was capturing headlines the entire weekend and following week. It was Shedeur Sanders. Now look, this video is not about Shedeur Sanders. I already made a video about that. Go ahead and check it out right here. But this is more about Mel Kiper's meltdown. If you didn't see it, here it is right here.
Boomer Esiason was not happy when he was a second round pick.
Tom Brady
was not
wasn't happy.
They dropped. How'd they turn out?
And you know what? Nobody's arguing that can happen.
Race, the NFL has been clueless for 50 years when it comes to evaluating quarterback. Clueless. No idea what they're doing in terms of evaluating quarterback. That's proof. There's proof of that.
How many
times say we know exactly what we're talking about with quarterback? They don't.
Now look, I totally get being upset about having a player ranked very high that other people really aren't seeing. But for Mel Kiper to be going on a rant like that on the night of the draft, overshadowing a lot of prospects, really rubbed me the wrong way. Also, saying that people can't evaluate quarterback talent in the last 50 years really made me want to make this video because, Mel, you really have had some stinkers over the years. So, in this video, we're going to go over some of Mel Kiper's biggest misses throughout his career. But before we get too much further, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe on this channel. We just hit 50 subs, which is insane. I want to thank every single one of you who has already subscribed to this channel. And if you haven't done so already, please feel free to do so if you feel that I've earned it. I also want to thank a few people who called out the sound issues on the last video. Definitely going to be working on that. Make sure if you have any other feedback, please let me know in the comments so I can fix it in the future. But thank you again to those who have been calling out things that need to get fixed. But let's jump right into the video. Now, if a player got hurt or had some legal troubles throughout their career, like an Andre Wadsworth or a Justin Blackmon, something you can't really predict on that as much as they should be on this list, especially saying something like, you know, Wadsworth was better than Peyton Manning as a prospect, because you can't predict injury history or something like that, so I'm not going to hold that against Mel. This is more for players who stayed healthy throughout their career or stayed out of legal trouble, stuff to that degree. First, we're going to start off with Mike Williams. Mike Williams was a wide receiver out of USC, picked 10th overall by the Detroit Lions. Mel Kiper once said that Mike Williams was a top prospect in the 2005 draft. He praised his size, hands, and playmaking ability, even asserting during the ESPN draft coverage that Williams would be a future Hall of Famer. When a fellow analyst questioned the pick, Kiper retorted, "I'll see you at his Hall of Fame induction." Yeah, how'd that one turn out, Mel? Williams was dominant at USC. He won All-American honors in 2003, set multiple freshman records. However, he tried to enter the draft in his sophomore season, which led to him sitting out for an entire year, which added some rust, let's be honest. But despite this, the Detroit Lions took him 10th overall in the 2005 draft. Unfortunately, Williams' career would not play out the way Mel Kiper thought. Over 6 NFL seasons, he recorded 127 receptions for 1,526 yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. His most productive season came in 2010 with the Seattle Seahawks, where he notched 65 catches for 751 yards and 2 touchdowns. Easy to say that he did not meet expectations. Players drafted behind him were like Sean Merriman, Aaron Rodgers, DeMarcus Ware, just to name a few in the first round. So it's easy to say, big miss on this one, Mel. Next up, we have Vernon Gholston. Vernon was drafted in 2008 with the 6th overall pick in the first round. At the time of the 2008 draft, Mel Kiper was notably high on Vernon Gholston, ranking him as the 9th best player available. Kiper acknowledges Gholston's speed, agility, and ability to sack the quarterback, as evident by his 14 sacks in the 2007 season at Ohio State. He also emphasized Gholston's versatility, noting his potential to play at either defensive end or in a 4-3 scheme, or even as an outside linebacker. Kid was all over the place, it looked like. Kiper believed that Gholston's flexibility made him such an asset to the Jets that it would be insane for them to pass him up. And the Jets drafted him. Despite entering the league with high expectations, Gholston never got a sack in the NFL. Not a single one. 14 his last year of college, 0 in his entire NFL career. He played with the Jets from 2008 to 2010, and then he was with the Bears and the Rams a little bit, never really got in the regular season, just a practice squad member guy. He played 45 games with 5 starts, 42 tackles, 29 of them being solo, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. This was your 9th overall prospect there, Mel. Just some of the players drafted after him, they passed up Gerard Mayo. Jonathan Stewart's a great running back out of Oregon. Bias alert, I understand. Aqib Talib was in this draft. There was talent in this draft. Would you rather have Mayo or Gholston at this point? Let's ask Jets fans. I'm sure the answer would be Mayo. Next up is Trent Richardson, running back out of Alabama, went to the Cleveland Browns 3rd overall in the 2012 NFL draft. In the lead up to the 2012 NFL draft, Mel Kiper was a strong advocate for Alabama running back Trent Richardson, often referring to him as the best running back prospect he's seen in years. Compared him to Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson. Kiper projected Richardson to be selected in the early first rounds, with teams like the Browns and Buccaneers showing significant interest. The Browns would indeed select Richardson with the 3rd overall pick in the draft. He had an amazing rookie season with the Browns. He got 950 yards and 11 touchdowns, and also added 51 receptions for 367 yards. Not a bad rookie year. But the following season...
You may not believe this, but Trent Richardson has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts.
Just traded him out of nowhere. Everyone was shocked by this. Then you watched him play his following season, and it was a completely different running back. The man couldn't find the hole. Literally, there are clips of him running into a crowd of people, seeing two different open lanes, and he ran into the crowd. He had no running back instinct whatsoever. While his college success at Alabama was undeniable, Richardson's career was marred by inconsistency and lackluster performances, leading to an early exit from the league. It's just another example of Mel not knowing how to judge talent and putting lofty goals on a kid that the kid can't live up to. Jamarcus Russell, quarterback out of LSU, drafted 1st overall by the Oakland Raiders. In the 2007 NFL Draft, Mel Kiper was a vocal proponent of Jamarcus Russell. Literally, vocal as hell about him, comparing him to Hall of Famer John Elway at certain times.
So you'll need a little time, but you're talking about a 2 to 3 year period once he's under center. Look out, because skill level that he has is certainly John Elway-like.
Kiper lauded Russell's physical attributes, emphasizing his arm strength and size as unparalleled in the draft class. He projected that Russell will be a top-tier quarterback, in saying, quote, 3 years from now, you could be looking at a guy who's certainly one of the elite top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Over 3 seasons, Russell started 25 games, compiling a 7-18 record. 7-18. He threw for 4,083 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 23 interceptions. His completion percentage was 52.1%. And he posted a passer rating of 65.2. Yeah, let's just say Jamarcus is out of the league for a reason. He never really looked like he was ready to play. He literally did not look like the quarterback of why teams would draft somebody that high, somebody that committed to the sport. Again, quarterback isn't like any other position. You have to be basically like the CEO, the businessman, the guy there to do a job. Jamarcus never showed that. And you can actually blame players like Jamarcus Russell, like other people on this list, of why teams are so cautious about drafting quarterbacks. And if you look at the 07 class specifically, it was a terrible draft class. Nobody out of this draft class was good. The only one you could consider successful is Cobb, because he actually had a career backup role, but the rest of them were out of the league very quickly. Brady Quinn, Jamarcus Russell, like the top 2 quarterbacks were not good. So is that on you? Is that on the teams? Because all y'all had these guys ranked so high. When Brady Quinn was falling, everyone was losing their mind about that too. But it turned out the teams were correct in their evaluation there, Mel. And finally, number 1, Jimmy Clawson, quarterback out of Notre Dame, selected in the 2nd round, 48th overall of the 2010 NFL Draft. Mel Kiper's valuation of Clawson stands as one of the worst of all time in draft history. Not because, he was wrong about it or anything. It's his comments after Jimmy was drafted. Kiper ranked Clawson as the 4th best player in the draft, emphasizing his arm strength, accuracy, and leadership. He projected Clawson to be a top-tier quarterback, even suggesting that if Clawson wasn't successful, he would retire. And he's still working to this day. ESPN has even tried to delete the clip. I can't find it anywhere. There used to be a clip of him, basically, he's sitting there saying, if Jimmy Clawson's not successful in 8 years, he would retire. 8 years. Way past that at this point, Mel, yet you're still doing what you're doing. Clawson was selected by the Carolina Panthers in the 2nd round, 48th overall. However, his NFL career was underwhelming. Over 4 seasons with the Panthers, Chicago Bears, and Baltimore Ravens, Clawson started 10 games, compiling a 1-9 record. He threw for 1,699 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, with a passer rating of 58.4. His tenure was marked by inconsistency and lack of development, leading to his departure from the league after the 2015 season. So you put your reputation on the line and saying that you know how to evaluate quarterbacks and you would retire if you were wrong, yet you're still doing this, and you were so wrong about Jimmy Clawson, it wasn't even funny. But yet you're going to sit here on ESPN yelling at people saying they don't know how to evaluate quarterbacks for the past 50 years. The guys whose job this is day in and day out, where if they're wrong, they're going to get fired, they're putting more on the line than you are, Mel. Again, you tried to say you would retire if you were wrong, and yet you still do this. You are still doing this. And Mel, you're still doing this 7 years after that bet would have hit, and you lost. So I don't want to hear about they don't know how to evaluate quarterback talent when they're the ones actually putting their jobs on the line and you're not. When you had the opportunity to actually give up on your word and say, you know what, I'm done, you didn't do it because obviously it was a stupid thing to say. Because you know as well as anybody, this is all a crapshoot. You have no idea how these players are going to turn out, and that's the fun of the draft. Finding those diamonds in the rough, finding those 6th, 7th round picks who end up being starters and stars. I just think next time that Mel wants to throw stones, that he remembers that he's in the glass house at this point. You're biting the hand that feeds you. ESPN is the one who pays you to do NFL coverage, and you've been wrong. They could take your advice and go, you know what? Have a good one, Mel. But they don't. Because you ultimately are decent at what you do. But let's not criticize these teams just because you were wrong about one pick. Because as history shows, you've been wrong about a lot of picks. And yes, you've been right about a lot, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are a lot of players that you've called, nailed on the head, everything like that. But you've also been wrong a lot of times. So let's not pretend we're perfect. But that's just what I got, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know if I'm way off base, if you guys agree, disagree. Let me know everything in the comments down below. Make sure you also hit subscribe and hit that bell notification to get all the updates of our new videos here. Again, I want to thank our first 50 subs here. It means a whole lot that you all are with me on this journey. And until the next one, have a good one.